He knows everything.
Good news and bad news. The good news is that British children lead the world. The bad news is that they do so in drinking, smoking, getting high, having sex and getting pregnant. They're no slouches at picking up sexually transmitted diseases either. The World Health Organization has identified British children as among the worst behaved in the West. But there are noticeable regional differences. Welsh children are the most likely to have been drunk in all Europe, with Scotland next and the English some way behind. Welsh children are also more likely to have sex earlier, with Scotland next and the English some way behind. Welsh children are more likely to smoke marijuana than the English, and they feel more pressured at school, probably because they can't concentrate on their lessons, being as they are drunk, stoned and exhausted. In almost every category of poor behaviour, the Welsh are way ahead of their English counterparts. How did this happen? How could we have let this arms race of yobbery get away from us? We should not allow this iniquitous state of affairs to continue. We must plug the delinquency gap. Come on, children of England, you can do better than this. You're not going to let that lot over the border show you up as a bunch of tame mummies boys, are you? With their funny accents and unpronounceable names and their rare bits and their ruddy faces, with their clanticilio and their gogogochs. With a little more application we can climb that league table. A simple party pack here, a king-sized Rizzler there, and a I haven't got a condom but let's do it anyway approach. We could beat our Celtic cousins and be all that we can be. We will fight them on the benches, and we will never surrender. I have a dream. I have a dream. We're aliens. There aren't aliens among us. We are aliens. I'll come to that shortly. Also, there's a couple of really stupid crims. The perps aren't getting any brighter, and I'll give you those stories as well. First of all, there's a call. How bizarre. Chertsey. Hello, Tony.
Hi there, Nick.
Tony.
Nick, I've been listening recently to your trail about the way the government might be spreading fear about children and maybe bring in laws that will erode our civil liberties.
I haven't heard that one.
What do you mean you haven't heard it? You did it.
Well, I don't listen to this show. I don't like me.
No, well, you must remember doing it, surely.
What did I say? Give us a recap.
Well, you said something like, is the government creating an atmosphere of fear about our children to erode our civil liberties and bring in laws to solve a problem that doesn't really exist?
Oh, yeah, that sounds like the sort of thing I'd say, yeah.
Well, I just wondered what you thought was the ultimate aim the government have in mind. I mean, why are they doing this? Apart from eroding our civil liberties. I mean, why do they want to do that?
Well, it's an interesting question, and I'm not sure they actually have an end, like a game plan in mind. They just see, it's almost like a child opening a box of chocolates thinking, ooh, yes, I'll have one of those, and we'll put up CCTV cameras at every corner in the land, and I'll have one of those, which is keeping people for 42 days without charge, and I'll have one of these over here, which is $5,000 fine if you don't let somebody root through your bin. And it's just almost as though they're, oh gosh, it's like
meddling.
It's a choice selection, and then they hardly know where to start.
Yeah.
It's as though they're arming themselves with the tools for a job they haven't got yet.
Or maybe they just enjoy doing it.
Well, the amount of flack they get from doing it, you wouldn't think that they're actually enjoying the process of being pilloried so much.
Well, maybe because they don't care that they're being pilloried, you know.
Oh, I think that they actually do, yeah. I think the vanity of politicians knows no bounds, and they would much rather open the paper in the morning and not have themselves painted as, you know, enemies of the people, or dopes, or a combination of the two.
Yeah. Don't you think they think their position is pretty unassailable overall, you know?
In what sense?
Either one party or another, they're still in power.
Yes, for all that bluster at Prime Minister's questions and all the pretend infighting, they are all of a stripe, aren't they?
I think so. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And you know what? The Prime Minister, Gordon himself. is making a big scene about the potential pay rise, saying, "Oh no, I don't want you to vote for your own pay rise." They will. They will. You know they will.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever thought of running for power, Nick?
Yeah, right. No, I'll leave that to Kelvin. You know, people of more stature and standing.
Oh, no, I think you've got that.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. Okay, you are out of your mind. I was curious, but right, yeah, proven positive. All right, thanks for that, Tony.
Okay, Nick.
0845 6060 973. The amount of times I've heard that lately. Why didn't you vote? Why didn't you go for mayor? Why don't you go for prime minister? We'll vote for you. No, you won't. It might be all right just listening to some bloke blather on the radio, but if I was actually, you know, if it was possible that I had power over you, well, you'd run screaming to the hills, like Iron Maiden. Run to the hills.
Maybe it's like
rock and roll!
It's like those cruel kids at school that tell you you'd look good or you should do something because it'd be really cool.
Yeah.
And then once you actually do it, to get their respect, they just point and laugh at you.
Oh, really? Is there something you'd like to tell us, Raj? Tell us about... Tell us, start from the very beginning. What was your childhood like? Tell us about your mother.
No, my childhood was fine. I'm just saying kids can be cruel.
Was fine? You're still going through it. What are you talking about? Hey, I was listening to the news and the excellent Joe Parkinson was talking to Sienna Miller. You know who Sienna Miller is, don't you? No. No, me either. Who is she? She keeps coming up all the time in the blooming papers. Sienna Miller did this, Sienna Miller did, somebody else. And I've got no idea what she actually does. What does she do? Name one film that Sienna Miller has been in. I double dare you. Oh, dear, time's up. I bet you can't think of one single one. Not even Victoria, who's a fan.
I can only think of one, but she had a bit part in it, really, which was Stardust. With,
right.
Robert De Niro.
Right, never heard of it.
It was good.
Oh, yeah, sure. Robert De Niro. There's a man who's... Robert De Niro needs to take a good long look at himself. I wouldn't say this to his face because, you know, he's crazy. But he's become a pastiche of himself, which is a bit sad, really, because he's one of the great movie actors of all time. I mean, some of the films and the performances that he's put in have been fantastic. But now he just shows up to do a Robert De Niro, where he scowls, plays a gangster, and threatens to kill people. Whatever happened to Joe Pesci, by the way? I'm funny to you, I make you laugh, like a clown. He was properly scary, like insane. And he was only 3 feet tall. Come to find out, Sid Charisse was only 3 feet tall, too. And you know, you know who Sid Charisse is? She's the leggy dancer. Her legs were insured for £1 million, back when £1 million could actually buy you a thing or two. You know, Sid Charisse, Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, Gene Kelly, Sid Charisse, of that ilk. You're looking at me like I'm speaking in French now. You know, Sid Charisse. She died. She's still dead. Come to find out, she was 5'2" or 4, something like that. Very, very small indeed. But when you see her on the screen, she looks like she's about 7 foot. It's like her legs go on forever. Sid Charisse. These people through there, they're looking at me like I'm speaking. You've got no clue as to what I'm talking about. You remember Black and White, don't you? No. Sadly not. 0845 6060 973. I haven't given you anything to call in about yet, but, don't wait for me to tell you what to call in about. Just call in about any old thing, like that nice man did just before. He wasn't waiting to be instructed. But anyway, what I was saying was that, I'm running up against a break now. Every time I get, I manage to get two hands on a thought, it runs away from me. Hey, here's another one. I'm about to talk about golf now. Oh, blimey. All right, remind me about, working back, Sid Charisse, Sienna Miller. Remind me about Sienna Miller. You'll do that, won't you, Rod? He's not remotely interested, not even listening to this show. Golf, Tiger Woods. I wish I'd watched that now, because, we're watching the golf on television. Oh, it's fascinating.
Boring!
Almost as dull as playing the game itself. But Tiger Woods was playing through a knee injury, and when I saw him, about halfway through that tournament, it was the American Masters, or whatever they call it, he was playing as badly as I do. He went from, I swear, he chipped from one, sandy area, what do they call them?
Bunkers.
Bunkers, yes. He chipped from one bunker to the next. Could you believe that? Tiger Woods, the greatest man who's ever picked up a golf bat. And, I thought, blimey, I could do better than that. Get yourself together, man. And he was down in the field, but he came through to win it, and I wish that I'd watched it, because he was playing through knee pain. As indeed am I. Oh, no, Nick, really, are you? Please, tell us all about it. I am suffering here. I might have to go and have another operation. No, I would like a sharp intake of breath all round, but your face just didn't... Not a flicker of emotion looking at me here. Couldn't care less. It's when I'm away at the weekend, it's the love I miss the most. 7:45. LBC Travel with Amanda Redmond.
Thanks very much, Nick. Well, on the train, services are at a...
People.
Just not you two. Ow! Not only have I got a sore knee now, I did every now and again it happens. DJs would, hey, DJs will know what I'm talking about. You put your headphones on the table, and then you pick them up and pull them to your face, unaware that your chair is on the wire. And so the headphones, instead of going neatly over your ears, describe a truncated arc into your face. Ow! Still, you know me, I don't like to complain. Here's a call in Catford. It's Trixie.
Yeah, I've done exactly the same thing. It's horrible, isn't it?
Really? But we're talking about me.
And we're talking about you as well. Hello. And she said Charisse.
Sid Charisse, yes.
Well, I didn't know she'd died. When was that?
Just recently. It's in every paper today.
Could you hold on just for a second?
Oh, yeah, sure. Take as long as you want.
No, the radio's on in the other room.
It's a live show.
Hello, I'm still here. I could hear the radio in the other room. I have 3 radios in the flat. I've got one in the bedroom, one in the living room, one in the kitchen. You see.
Ain't you fancy?
I know. Have you got any feedback coming from me now?
No.
Good. All right, then, because I can hear it. Never mind. Yeah, Sid Charisse, when did she die?
Is this the second time you're asking me this?
Yes, I know.
I refer you to the answer I gave some moments ago.
Yes. Which was? Because I was closing the door.
I don't know. It was like yesterday, probably yesterday, because it was in all the papers today.
So she was only 5'2".
Well, for either 5'2" or 5'4",
That is
which also, and there was a picture of her standing next to Fred Astaire, which also makes Fred Astaire 5'2" or 5'4".
It was very, very short. And,
but they don't look that... I mean, I know it's often the way that people on the screen look much bigger than they are, but Sid Charisse, she looked statuesque.
Well, I always thought she was something like 5'9".
Well, I thought she was way over 6 foot. I thought she was actually too tall to be a dancer.
Well, yes, I thought so too. And don't forget that Gene Kelly was also
tiny,
much shorter than her.
Yeah, you could barely see it with the aid of a microscope.
That's why Gene Kelly was jumping around so much to try and look over the top of her. I mean, she really, wow. She always had her legs outstretched, so she was a little tiny bit shorter than Gene Kelly. Do you remember that sequence in
Singing in the Rain? The hat on the foot?
No, not that one. I'm thinking about Sid Charisse, American in Paris.
That was Sid Charisse.
Yep. Which one are you thinking of?
I think, is it not Sid Charisse?
Oh, they did 2, didn't they? That's right, they did 2 dance sequences.
I can't get a word in edgeways. Sid Charisse's first major appearance was in Singing in the Rain, wasn't it? It was, I think it was a dream sequence part.
It was a dream sequence part, but
she
it was
had
also
his hat
similar.
on her foot.
And it was also the same one, or very similar to the one in American in Paris.
Right.
There are 2 dream sequences which are very similar.
That's right.
Yeah.
Both directed by...
Gene Kelly.
Gene Kelly is the right answer. Would you like to go for the steak knives?
No, thank you. I'll pass on those. Stanley Donen said he was a bit difficult to work with.
Who?
Yes, well, Stanley Donen, he directed Singing in the Rain.
Ah, yes.
So, I met him, but we were looking at it, which is showing, and he sort of insinuated that he was a bit difficult to work with.
Who, Gene Kelly?
Yeah.
Oh, probably
He's
because
worked with both Gene Kelly and Fred Astaire, you see.
Yeah, probably because he was a perfectionist.
Oh, absolutely. And so was Fred Astaire.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And the difference between Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly, of course, was that Gene Kelly was much more physical and gymnastic,
That's
but
right.
you could see the effort, whereas Fred Astaire just glided through it as though it wasn't there was no effort involved.
No, precisely. It was incredible. I don't know how they managed to do that. And poor old Ginger Rogers, she had bloodied feet at the end of each dance sequence, apparently.
Well, she had to do it in heels, didn't she?
She did indeed. There are a couple of things I wanted to touch on. I'm Welsh, by the way.
Oh, so am I.
You're not. You're Scottish, aren't you?
Well, Scottish and Welsh.
So am I. My grandfather was a Fraser.
It's amazing we're even here.
Oh, my gosh, we're probably related. You know?
Oh, yeah, like cosmic twins, yeah.
Oh, dear. Cosmic twins. Well, we probably are, aren't we? We're probably aliens.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I'll come to that in a little bit. Yeah, there aren't aliens among us. We're all aliens.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. The other thing I wanted to throw out, in case anybody else wanted to bite or nibble on the idea before the next break comes up, was that the government is obviously trying to get total control of us, mind control and physical control, and I think there might be a hidden agenda with Europe. And then with Europe has got a hidden agenda with possibly the States. And I think there's something going on. There's a lot of subterfuge going on that we don't know about.
OK, let's test it. Go ahead.
Well, there's apparently a secret organisation which somebody has talked about, which only the heads of state know about. It has been talked about in this programme. I do not know the name of the organisation, but I'm quite sure.
It's secret?
I know there is talk about it. There are a lot of rumours about it, and some people know more about it than others. And I know that.
What you mean, a shady cabal of dark-suited, grey-faced men?
People who are very, very rich, and they are ruling the world.
Oh undoubtedly,
they are literally orchestrating it.
Yeah.
And
show business agents, is that who you mean?
Well, you could. I suppose you could say it like that because they're rich enough to do that. Everybody's their pawn, and the world is their pawn.
The world is their prawn.
Pawn, my dear, pawn. Pawns don't go pink when you boil them. Pawns generally just sort of go white and shrivel away, and they do that.
What on earth are you talking about?
Dead people. They're going to boil them in the bag.
Oh, boil in the bag dead people? Well, it keeps the juice in.
Yes, exactly.
So yummy.
So I just wanted to... I think that might be the reason why the government wants control.
Yes, you're sounding like you're crazy now.
I'm not. And the reason... Then the supermarkets are then getting control of our mobile phones. They're now tagging us by our mobile phones.
No, not the supermarkets. I thought it was the... probably supermarkets will jump in on it, but I thought they were shopping centres who wanted to determine footfall and how people were wondering about their facilities.
Exactly, so you can't go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, quite right. Which toilets they were using, and you have to actually run your life like Jack Bauer now.
So if you want to be anonymous, you go out without your mobile phone. Or with your mobile phone switched off.
Well, no, switching it off doesn't do the trick. You have to actually take the little chip out and crunch it under your heel.
OK, or leave it at home.
You haven't watched 24 at all, have you?
No, I haven't. You see, I don't watch television.
Oh, yeah, well, that's where you're going wrong.
I know. I listen to the radio too often. I listen to your show too often.
Good for you.
All these blooming theories that are coming out.
Oh, it's nothing to do with me. You can't blame me.
No, it's brilliant. You get people's imaginations going. And by the way, not all the Welsh are like that. I was a good girl, I was.
Right. Well, you're making up for lost time now.
I am, and you've certainly got a break in about 3 minutes.
Thanks, Trixie.
Bye.
Always the professional. Blimey. She hasn't got a TV, but she's certainly got a clock. 0845 6060 973. You can text 84850. Talking about things to eat, was she? Yeah, boil in the bag. The £95 burger from Burger King. What on earth is that about? Apart from an exercise in, not viral exactly, but guerrilla advertising. Because we haven't half said Burger King on the radio a lot, eh? No one's going to buy a burger that costs £95 in Burger King, any more than anyone's going to buy their wedding ring at the pound shop, are they? You're not going to go and buy a bespoke suit at Primark. No one will. You ain't going to buy a £95 burger at Burger King. Why? Because they don't do food like that. Do you want something that costs almost £100 made in that kitchen? Not that there'll be anything wrong with the kitchen, mind. It's just that that's not what they do. If I was going to pay £95 for a burger, which I would never do, I would want Gordon Ramsay himself. I'd want to have it served in a restaurant that is used to turning out plates that cost £100. I'd want it in Sketch or Nobu. Well, I wouldn't actually go to Nobu. It's not that I've been, but I think it's a bit over now, isn't it? I mean, once Jordan falls out of a place, that's the end of it. I'll stick to Pizza Express. See, I wouldn't even spend 95 quid on a burger in Pizza Express, because that's just not what they do. So it can only be an advertising campaign, which we fell for, as did everybody else. It'll be in the papers that didn't take it today, tomorrow. We fell for it, hook, line and sinker.
Do you reckon when you go in there's a nice big picture of it, and it looks really good, and then you get it, and it's all like falling over and mushy and stuff.
And tiny, yeah. Yes, I'm interested in how you... No, Ben Taylor. Was it Ben Taylor? He said, how do you massage a cow? And the guy says, well, you take your two hands on either side of it, give it a good squeeze. Yeah, and that is exactly the way, of course, that they get the milkshake. One squirt or two. No, it's just daft, really, isn't it? Because Selfridges tried this trick a little while ago with pretty much exactly the same recipe, didn't they? The world's most expensive sandwich. And nobody really bought that either, but it got them a lot of press. In fact, I'm going to do that. I will currently sell you a burger for 250 quid. It will look exactly like the one that you get from Mackie D's, because it is the one I got from Mackie D's. But it's the markup what will get me the press. There's a method in my madness. This is LBC 97.3. It's 7:58.
Caproon is a charming and vibrant...
Anybody care what this guy thinks?
No!
The phone number 0845 6060 973 if you've seen anything stupid written on a product. There was, hang on a minute. One moment, please. Oh, yeah, there we go. Should have got this out during the news. Not prepared. This is a letter in the Times, I believe. Sir, I've just noticed the words, not tested on animals, emblazoned on the side of my dog food snack. How reassuring. Oh, how did they test it then? I mean, you don't make something that's for dogs and don't give it to dogs. How could you... that could be fatal. What, they just put it in a box and put it on the shelf and hope for the best? So, if you've ever seen anything ludicrous, anything inscribed on a product that is ludicrous, then call in. That's one thing to call about. You can call about... oh, blimey, I don't know. I've got about 50 things here in front of me. How about Prince Charles and the Gypsies, which is one of the stories that I was going to talk about for about a week in a row. I'll do that right now. Here's a couple of texts. Sienna Miller was in Layer Cake with Daniel Craig. Layer Cake. Oh, that's the thing with the unpleasant ironing. Yeah, hideous iron thing at the end there. Yes, very nasty. I think the organisation that Trixie was talking about is Bilderberg. Not sure if that's the right spelling. What's that then? Why don't you go ahead and Google it and see what we get. And another one says that the burger is for charity, you fool. What, is that correct? It's for charity? No, it's not. It's for publicity. If they were really concerned about giving money to charity, then they're rich enough, they'd just secretly give money to charity. Instead of all this folderol about a 95 quid burger. You fool. 0845 6060 973 if you've seen a stupid inscription on a product. If you have an opinion about, well, there's a lot of serious stuff. I don't really want to get into it. Abu Qatada, not really. There's an interesting story about athletes taking drugs for the Olympics, performance-enhancing drugs, and they don't actually need to bother. I might come to that in a minute. I might do Prince Charles and the Gypsies. Community Payback. They're changing the name of the work that they give to crims and perps when they go and... I don't know what it is they do, really. They bus them to a park with the idea of them painting the railings, and they sit in the van and they smoke joints all day as part of their punishment. But I'll talk about that as well. But this thing here, I've not tested on animals on the side of my dog food snack, and traditionally, the stupid label that is on almost everything is serving suggestion. They'll put it on the like one of those boxes of food that you put into a microwave, and it'll be, a happy couple on the front enjoying their mush in a box, which looks far better than it does when you actually microwave it yourself. Serving suggestion, it'll say, as though anyone would imagine that there's a gingham tablecloth cafe table in the box. Serving suggestion. Here's one in Richmond. Hello, Alan.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. Yeah, when my dog started creating, I got one of those training collars, those spray collars.
What's that?
They're a remote collar that has like a little air pump, and it just puts out a little spray of cold, like a compressed gas under the neck. So if he goes to misbehave, it just sort of gives him you tell him no, he doesn't behave, then you just give him a little zap of that.
Really?
And it was one of these adjustable nylon collars, so it had like one size fits all, and it said directions to make fit dog, cut collar to size of dog, to prevent ends of collar fraying, burn with match or lighter. Then underneath it said, do not do this whilst dog is wearing collar.
Well, that's good advice, yeah.
And I was absolutely amazed, because the guy that promotes the product over here is actually one of those, the top animal behaviourists in the country. And I'm like, well, it's obvious you're in a job if you have to put that kind of advice on something, and they're the sort of people you're treating their animals.
Well, you know what? I think it's a reflection of the times, really. Some people are that stupid, and then they will complain that the instructions weren't clear on the box, that you weren't supposed to set fire to your pet.
Like the drink was hot.
Yes, exactly. Caution.
There's a whole host of those from America, actually. And there was actually a guy who actually took out a lawsuit against one of, I think it was Ford or whatever. They made one of these huge RVs. He'd never had an RV. He treated himself. He'd just retired. Thought him and his wife were going to go away and do all the holiday thing. So the salesman took him through the whole routine, showed him how to use the cruise control. He set the cruise control and went into the back to make a coffee and crash. And he actually tried to sue the company because they hadn't advised him that cruise control didn't mean that it actually drove itself.
Yes, absolutely right. And I'm not sure that it isn't one of these urban myths, but I think somebody tried to sue the manufacturer of microwave that they used to dry their dog in. Because it didn't specifically say in the instructions...
Don't dry dog.
Yeah, don't put Fido on a high heat for 3 minutes.
Mate.
All right, yeah, thanks for that, Alan.
Okay, bye.
Cheers, ta-ra. 0845 6060 973. Continuing the stupid theme. Where in all the world would you not try to smuggle a crack pipe? That's right, court. A juror has been thrown off a week-long... a juror, mind. He wasn't appearing... at the time he wasn't appearing as a perp. He's been thrown off a week-long theft trial after being caught trying to smuggle drugs and a crack pipe into court. Why would you do that? I mean, what, in a moment of boredom during the case, you're going to whip it out and have a little hit? The 32-year-old man panicked as he approached a police metal detector arch at Kingston Crown Court, where 3 men were on trial, accused of aiding the 7th of July London bombers. He ran away, twice, but was caught on CCTV. Police followed him and found cannabis by his bike and a crack pipe in a bush. A juror was discharged and the trial continued, although the jury was unable to reach a verdict. What an idiot. Kind of like that guy who'd just stolen a necklace and admired his reflection with the necklace in the lens of a security camera on a bus, thereby giving us a perfect picture of his stupid fat face. Oh, dear. Well, they're not getting any brighter, are they? There's actually a beautiful one about some old geezer. I might come to that in a minute. A dopey vandal carved his own name onto the windows of 10 buses while staring at CCTV cameras. Jobless Chris Barber was filmed as he caused damage totalling £6,000 to Stagecoach buses over a 4-month period. When police released the footage, someone recognised him. You don't say. His defending counsel said he was depressed. Oh, can you believe that? He was depressed, so he wrote his name on enough windows to cause £6,000 worth of damage. And there he is with a can of Well, I can't tell what it is. Might be Strongbow. Depressed. Now, I'm depressed at this next bit. City JPs gave Barbara a 12-month discharge and told him to pay £525 in compensation. He caused £6,000 worth of damage, had to pay £525 in compensation. Thereby, by my reckoning, he made £5,475. Genius. He was also banned from the bus. Well, he's unemployed. He's not going anywhere, is he? That is crazy, isn't it? I mean, even if he is unemployed, he's obviously got enough to buy himself drink. If he caused £6,000 worth of damage, he should pay £6,000 back. Or am I a fascist for saying it?
Was he banned from that particular bus or all buses?
I think all stagecoach buses. Yeah. All stagecoach buses for 6 months, after which he can continue his, with his bad self. And they're going to change the name of community service. You know, community service, where they pretend that they're going to let them free. They've done this, that and the other, and I'll have 300 other offences taken into account, and we can't put you in jail because we put everybody else in the country in jail. Apparently we lock so many people up, I think it's more than any other country almost in the world, with the possible exception of Zimbabwe. And so we put them out to work to clean graffiti off walls with a toothbrush or some comedy thing like that. And when you read this sheriff, and this email goes around and around, and every now and again it'll pop in your inbox about this sheriff in Arizona, Sheriff Arpaio, something like that. I read out his regime a little while ago. He puts his charge. He's the governor of a prison in a small town in Arizona. And in America, you get to... Well, I think he's not the governor of a prison. I think he's the chief of police, something like that. The public, because it's, a bit more of a democracy over there, they get to vote for the chief of police. And probably the head of the prison service in whichever area they are. And he just kept getting voted back in again and again and again. And instead of building comfortable jails with Sky TV and all that stuff for his perps, they do their time in tents in Arizona, where it's often 125 degrees in the shade, and it's extremely unpleasant. And he makes them wear pink clothes from head to foot, and he has them working on a chain gang, and it just goes on, and then they don't get. He removed satellite television, but then there was some sort of a nationwide law that you have to have satellite TV. So he said, all right, you'll get the Disney Channel, and that's it. Moaning and whining and complaining, his charges were, and he said, well, if you don't like it, don't come back. In this country, however, things are considerably different. Offenders carrying out community sentences may be made to wear high-visibility bibs that will mark them out as criminals under far-reaching reforms to the criminal justice system designed to, quote, restore public confidence. Well, that won't mark them out as criminals. That'll just mark them out as road sweepers or traffic police or anybody that works for the council. Or bicyclists, even. The recommendations include tougher punishments, the creation of a commissioner to champion crime issues on behalf of the public. Why do we need that? Doesn't that rather suggest that they've kind of lost their way on this? And instead of the probation service, to run work projects for offenders. Conviction posters showing the identity of people guilty of committing a crime could also be displayed in public places. No, they won't. It will infringe... I mean, they couldn't even put up a poster saying this criminal is wanted. Do you remember that? A little while ago. Somebody was wanted for, I can't remember, some serious crime, and they weren't allowed to put a poster up saying, call us if you see this person, because it might infringe their personal privacy. The whole world's gone crazy. 8:16. LBC Travel with Helen Austin.
Thanks very much. We're starting with the Underground first of all.
Correct. You can email me if you like. It's nick.abbott@lbc.co.uk. The text number is 84850. The phone number, which is the preferred method of contact, 0845 6060 973. Here's a call in Limehouse. Hello, Helen.
Hiya, hi.
Helen.
It's about the food packaging.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we've been buying, I don't know what they're called, Walker's Max crisps lately.
Right.
Paprika flavour. And my daughter knows that on the front they've got a photo of a crisp. It's about 8 inches by 4 inches. And it's not actual size. Like you're expecting to find this one huge crisp inside.
Not actual size.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's good, isn't it? Yeah.
All right, thanks for that, Helen.
Thanks.
Cheers. Yeah, if you see anything daft written on the packets, you might want to root around your cupboard right now, if you like. There's almost certainly something in there. Then let us know. 0845 6060 973. Ludicrous inscriptions on products or other. A text. Who in their right mind would willingly pay 95 quid for a burger? Well, you're right, yes. Nobody would. What charity is it? Do we know? Because I only half heard the news thing. What's the basis of this story? What's their angle?
I'll check for you.
No, you won't. He says, sitting stock still. Another text. Here is a really stupid inscription that I have seen on a package for a solar cell battery charger. Do not use in sunlight. Well, how useless is that, he says. Do not use in sunlight? Well, I know you're not supposed to put electrical goods in the sun, because it heats them up and makes them go wonky. But if it's got a solar cell panel on it, well, here's Thurrock. Hello, Greg.
Hello, Nick.
Greg.
All right?
Yes, very well.
Good. Yeah, you passed over the subject of Abbot.
Yes, crazy name, crazy guy, yeah.
Said it was all too serious. We don't really want to speak about that. But I heard the report when it first came out about the situation. Although, he's obviously not actually gone to trial for anything.
Well, let me read the story and then you can come back at me, all right?
Oh.
Stop me at any time. Abu Qatada, the radical Islamic cleric described as Osama bin Laden's right-hand man in Europe, was released from jail yesterday after a judge ruled that there were no grounds to detain him.
Right.
The decision to allow him to return to his home in London, where he'll receive about £1,000 a month in state benefits, made a mockery of the government's promise to crack down on terrorist suspects and embarrass the Home Office and blah, blah, blah.
Right. So he's back at home, although why he choose to live here, I can't quite work that one out.
He's determined to stay.
Yeah. So maybe he's just bluffing that maybe he likes us, really.
Well, maybe he just likes all the free money we're giving him.
Yeah. But he's back home under conditions, and he can't use his mobile phone. He's got a tag on his leg.
Yes.
And he's only allowed out for 2 hours.
Right.
And there's also a list of things that he can and can't do, and they've given, and he's also under certain restrictions and conditions. And one of them is that there's a list of people that cannot he can't bring into his house.
I think anybody over the age of 10, isn't it?
Well, one of them is Osama bin Laden.
Yes.
they put that in writing.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, his neighbours must have breathed a sigh of relief when they heard that one.
I don't know. I mean, I think, well, Raj came up with this during the break. I think they should encourage him to contact Osama bin Looney, because,
maybe they're hoping to, they're thinking that he's going to be like the Trojan horse.
Well, even if he doesn't come around with, a packet of biscuits for a cup of tea, even if he just contacted him by phone, surely we could then track or listen into the conversation. I mean, the MI5, 6, whoever they are, must have the ability to point the little pewter at his house and listen to everything that's going on in there. And if they hear him having a little chit-chat with Osama, then they could nip in, take his phone and press redial. Say that you have won a first prize in a beauty contest. Where do we send the envelope?
You know, something it's crazy enough it might just...
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
All right.
You wouldn't be expecting it. Thanks a lot, Greg.
OK, mate.
Cheers. Yeah, the full story, quite depressing, really. Jackie Smith, Jack-A... seriously, dear, call yourself Jacqueline. No one can take you seriously with Jack-A, especially with its... And if it was Jackie, Jackey, that's one thing. But Jacqui, that sounds like a heavy metal band. Only one worse than that would be Jakkii. So anyway, she's the Home Secretary, can you believe it? She said she was extremely disappointed at the court's decision to bail Qatada, while the Conservatives branded the decision as offensive. Mr Justice Mitting, for it was he, signed an order to release Qatada on bail with strict conditions following a previous Court of Appeal decision to refuse his deportation on the grounds that he might be upset. Pretty much. The judge was sitting at the Special Immigration Appeals Commission in London, the same court that had previously described Qatada as a truly dangerous individual who was heavily involved, indeed the centre of terrorist activities associated with Al-Qaeda. How does Gordon pronounce Al-Qaeda? I heard him say it today. It's a bit funny. He really throws himself at that word and intents on getting it absolutely phonetically correct. Al-Qaeda, something of that order. Honestly, what's wrong with Gordon Brown? Did you see Prime Minister's questions today? There seems to be something up with him. Every single time he stood up, it's as though his brain froze. He sounded like a scooter trying to cold start. Like that. Mr. Speaker, he was trying to say. He doesn't stumble over any other words. Maybe it's the process of getting to his feet that puts his brain in neutral, but he's incapable of saying the words Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. One of these days he's actually going to get stuck, and that's all that's going to come out of his mouth. Anyway, very odd. I'll continue. I'll just get to the end of this. Police are expected to maintain a constant presence outside Qatada's home to protect him from vigilante attacks at an annual cost to you of tens of thousands of pounds. The taxpayer will also fund at least £1,000 a month in benefits for him, his wife and his 5 children, even though he was once found to be carrying £170,000 in cash when stopped by the police.
What?
Yes. He's wanted in his native Jordan after being convicted in his absence of plotting a series of bomb attacks in Amman in 1998 and for providing finance and advice to terrorists planning a series of explosions here on Millennium Night. What a nice guy. At least the government's strategy for deporting terrorist suspects in tatters, as 11 other suspects awaiting deportation hearings also include Jordanians and Algerians are likely to rely on the ruling to keep them in Britain. Despite Tony Blair's promise after the July 7th bombings that the rules of the game have changed, guess how many terrorists, round it up to the nearest, 10, guess how many we've deported since then?
80.
0. Not one. The Home Secretary said Qatada has forced religious and has provided religious and spiritual advice to extremist groups almost from the moment he arrived in Britain using a fake passport. He was described as bin Laden's right-hand man. Ooh, I bet that's smelly. The man lives in a cave. I bet his right hand's pretty smelly. There's a bunch of fingers you don't want to sniff, eh? Yeah. Oh, blimey. I mean, where do you even start? So he's plotting our demise using our money. He's living on our money, plotting to kill us all, or whatever it is in his tiny, fiendish, bearded little mind. It's genius, really, when you think about it. I mean, he can't breathe for laughing so much. Anyway, here is Hainault. Hello, Linda.
Good evening.
Linda.
Yes. I just wanted to tell you about something I bought to feed the birds in my garden.
Tuppence a bag.
Freeze-dried mealworms.
Ugh.
Yeah, and it says on the bottom, not for human consumption.
Well, I wouldn't think so, no.
I couldn't imagine anything worse. Just a thought.
What's a mealworm?
A mealworm is it's a horrible-looking little caterpillar thing. It's about an inch or so long. And they're brown, like segmented little tiny worms. And they're awful.
Freeze-dried, though? Ooh, so fresh.
Yeah, for the robins in particular.
Ah, right. Because you can't give them bread, can you? Apparently it kills them.
That's right, too much of it, yeah. So it's just not for human consumption. I couldn't imagine anything more. No, there you go.
All right.
Just listening to you, talking about this chap found with £170,000
Yeah,
cash.
you believe that?
If you have more than £8,000 cash, they stop your benefits. So why is he getting benefits?
Well, it's a mystery to me and probably everybody else in this country. We don't know, Linda.
It's such an odd, bizarre thing. If, you cannot have that amount of money, and we're still letting the man have money.
Well, maybe it said it wasn't his, and we said, oh, right you are then. Carry on.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Don't prove it, or just let us know where you got it from. Right?
Yeah. But at all costs, we don't want to, upset his feelings.
No, if you want to sell your house and you've got equity in your property, you have to qualify where you get that money from. Because the Inland Revenue want to know it's not laundered money.
Right. Yes.
So if you have to do that to buy and sell a house, why can't he tell people where he got his money from?
Well, like I said, Linda, nobody has any idea, apart from the very, very clever people who are making these rules as they go along. Here, Linda, I've got to go, but thanks very much, all right.
Bye.
0845 6060 973. This is LBC 97.3, 8:30.
Oh, boys.
I'm asking for stupid things, essentially. Stupid things that you've seen written on products or, other consumables, or just stupid things. Like this, for instance. Best stupid perp story I've heard is of the bank robber who handed a note to the cashier demanding the money, which turned out to be written on the back of his gas bill, with his name and address on the front. That just about beats all. I've got a better one than that. I'll save it for a while. But in the news there was the story of the people removed from the public gallery. It was the House of Lords, was it? And they were saying something like, when do we want referendum on the Lisbon... What were they saying? What do we want? A referendum on the Lisbon Treaty, which doesn't really scan at all, does it? I mean, you'd have to have that written down on a piece of card. What do we want? A referendum on the Lisbon Treaty. When do we want it? As and when practicable. Well, it's just polite, isn't it? A text. This isn't a text, actually. Is this information from you? The Gloucester Road Burger King has concocted a special burger, to benefit the Help a London Child charity. Is that what that is? And how does it help them?
Maybe they give him the bits that no one else wants to eat.
No. It would be something like some money from the sale of each burger goes to the Help a London Child. Something like that, right? We'll investigate further. But if that's what that is, well, they won't be writing a cheque for anything at all, will they? No one's going to buy a 95 quid burger from Burger King. They just won't. Hands up who wants a 95 quid burger from Burger King. No, you don't. Hey, did somebody bring one in? Because I heard Drive, and were they having a taste test?
I think Ben brought some in.
Some? Blimey. People working...
Maybe he stripped it down for parts and sold it.
Shepherd's Bush, hello, Sam. Oh, Sam?
Hello.
Sam.
Hello, good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you today?
I'm super, thanks for asking.
Well, good. That's the main thing, you know.
I know. Well, that's the politeness out of the way.
Well, yeah, exactly. Now, let's be rude. But this man who's under house arrest, a very expensive house arrest.
Yeah.
And about, whom you've been talking, and by the way, I think you've done a very good job to draw attention to the large sums of money that he's been having on him, because that, like your last caller said, that really is very unusual, and that's not something that anyone who's ever worked for a council benefit scheme would understand, that, because that's the kind of thing that would immediately, you'd be barred from benefits, of course you would. But aside from that, I don't really understand why he's entitled to be here when he's wanted for murder in Jordan, and he's not the only one as well. Jordan seems to be this country which is, apparently so terrible that they're not allowed to try their own murder suspects, and we give them safe haven here because the things they do to murderers there just aren't nice.
Well, the reason that they're not sending him over there is apparently because they're saying that the evidence against him may have been got through torture.
Right.
Well, that's it.
Well, I mean, we do that all the time. I mean, I'm not saying it's right.
Torture?
I'm sure it's wrong. I don't torture people, but I'm saying our government in third-party countries, as it's come out recently in the press, and America as well, who we're in cahoots with, does this all the time. And even though it's not right, the point is that we've got very strong extradition procedures in this country, and if we've got someone that we want, and they're wanted for a serious crime, doesn't matter where they're hiding, we'll do the best we can to make sure that they get the justice we think they deserve. And isn't it a bit arrogant of us to say, no, you can't try your own criminals because we don't like the way you do it?
Kind of, yeah.
You know, when the man's wanted for trying to kill lots of innocent people.
But I suppose that what the authorities or the judge will say in his defence is that his hands are essentially tied by the human rights legislation, that you can't extradite somebody to a country where they might not, or where it's in all likelihood they won't receive a fair trial, etc. and so on.
Well, you're dead right there. I just wanted to. I mean, I don't think it's going to change the world saying this kind of thing, because you're right, these laws are in place, and in a sense it's better to draw attention to the other things, like the benefit, fraud that seems to be going on, because that's something you can do something about. But just on point of principle, shouldn't we be looking at the fact that we're harbouring a lot of unsavoury characters here because we're scared of what will happen to them as they go home?
Well, I think we're harbouring a lot of unsavoury characters here because we're afraid of upsetting them. It seems like we're being so...
awfully nice of us, isn't it?
Well, we've been so kind of Victorian tea-time polite to people who are actually wishing our demise that it's as though we're slowly committing suicide here.
It's bizarre. Well,
we've lost our minds. Yeah. All right, thanks, Sam. 0845 6060 973. It is actually one of the symptoms of madness. Hastening your own demise, which is essentially, I think, what we seem to be doing. We're not really serious about it. We kind of make out that we are. We pretend that we are. But when it comes down to it, we don't act in a serious way. We keep being told that it's a war, but we're not acting like it is. We're acting like it's a bloomin' tea party. Anyway, a moment's seriousness there. A text. There's a statue in London. This is my favourite one so far. There's a statue in London that says, "Don't touch," in Braille. What? That can't be true. Another one. Sienna Miller was Alfie with the Jude Law. Good film, it says. Well, I think you're the only person in the whole wide world who thought that was a good film. That film was rubbish. Not having seen it doesn't affect my ability to opine on it. Everybody thought that film was terrible, Alfie. And also, about as bad as Sleuth. Two films, both remade, both containing, what's his name? What's his name?
Jude Law.
Jude Law, that's the very fellow right there, yes. Jude Law. Whatever happened to Jude Law? For a little while there, he was in virtually every film that was on at the cinema. He had about 5 films that were all released all in one go, and they were all terrible. Another text. Talking of stupid, a friend of mine had their credit card stolen. The perp then used the card to purchase goods online and had them delivered to his home address. A surprise to him, he was caught. What an idiot. Hemel Hempstead. Hello, Greg.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Very well, thanks.
Yeah, listen to him. It's quite a good topic, right?
The what, sorry?
It's quite a good topic talking about tonight.
All right, go on.
This guy that's been released. We should bring a law in where once you're charged with crime, i.e. terrorist, once you're charged, your human rights are gone. Your human rights are waived altogether, right?
What? Once you're charged?
Once you're charged with terrorist offences.
But what if you're innocent?
Well, you've got to be proved innocent, yeah, haven't you?
Well, that's right. But you don't mean charged, you mean convicted.
Oh, convicted, yeah, convicted. Yeah, you shouldn't have any human rights. That should be gone. Should be waived altogether. And I think that's what should have happened with this guy and sent back out of the way. We're harbouring too many of them.
All right. Thanks for that.
And
another thing.
I bought some fruit juice the other day, right?
Oh, yes, right.
I took that description. Pure fruit juice, right? And it's got from concentrate. Now, I can never work out what the concentrate is. It's supposed to be pure.
Well, it's just concentrated. They take the water out of the fruit juice in order to make it easier to transport, and then when they get it to where they can it or put it in a pack, they put the water back in, which makes it taste funny.
Okay.
So that's what that is.
All right, mate.
All right, cheers, Greg.
Cheers, bye.
0845 6060 973. You can text on 84850, email nick.abbott@lbc.co.uk. Yes, they've got this fella on, it's not actually Is it? It's not bail, is it? Is it bail? Right-hand man in Europe, released from jail, blah, blah. No grounds to detain him. Yeah, he's not on bail, but he's on house arrest, essentially. So, they're saying two different things, really, aren't they? Either he is worthy of prosecution, or he isn't. And if they're just going to let him go, then how come he's got to spend 22 hours a day inside, and he can't see anybody over the age of 10, and he can't preach, and he can't make phone calls, and he can't have the internet, and that doesn't sound like somebody who doesn't have any grounds to prosecute him, really, does it? I mean, if the government came along and said to you, for instance, Raj, you can't leave your house, and you can't watch TV, and you can't make phone calls, and I'll remove your internet provider, and I'll take your Xbox station away, and furthermore, you don't get to sleep with your teddy bear. You'd be really deeply upset. And while they said that, they'll say, but he hasn't done anything wrong. Well, there seems to be a dichotomy of messages here. They're not sending out the right message. Oh, the other thing that Gordon Brown does, somebody's got to talk to him. I mean, I was talking about this yesterday. He is eliciting some sympathy from me and a few other people, because all of these problems, these travails that he's presented with at the moment, not all his fault. They're world problems that he's just caught up in the eddy of the worldwide plunge, which the Star talked about today. I'll get to that in a minute. But he needs to be made over in some way. I think more than anything else, more than anybody advising him on policy or what to say or speech writing or any of this, he needs somebody to get hold of him and tell him how to act in public. Now, I believe that he has had somebody like that shipped over from Australia, wasn't he? Hasn't he got somebody from Australia, some hotshot PR man is helping him with his smile? Well, I've seen his smile, and he's not going to win many votes with that. So he's going to have to accentuate what it was that attracted us to him in the first place, if attracted is not too strong a word. Because you remember when Phony Tony first left, everybody was breathing a huge sigh of relief that we don't have, the spin has stopped. An actual real man, not just a smile on a stick. We warmed to Gordon Brown because he seemed like a politician of the old school. He was serious. He wasn't a spin-meister like Tony Blair was. And for a while there, his popularity went through the roof. Do you remember? Can you remember back that far? It's hard to recall, but we actually were, not in love exactly, but we went to second base with Gordon. Our hands were up his shirt. And that seems to have all gone. Partly because we got a better look at him. It's as though the lights went up in the cinema and we realised who we'd been, whose clothes we'd been interfering with. And as one, we said... And one of the things that he has to do, two things, really. Prime Minister's Question Time is really when most people watch him in action. The House is packed, everyone's staring at him, willing him to either success or fail, depending on what your opinions are. He's got to stop stuttering every time he leaps to his feet and says, Mr. Speaker, like that. He doesn't stutter over anything else, so it's just, it's not a problem with speech he has, it's some sort of mental block. It's how he starts every answer. And the other thing, which actually got really annoying when I was watching this, he accentuates each word by pounding the box in front of him on which the microphone stands. So it's the loudest thing you can hear. And after a while, it just gets really annoying. Like that. If I did the whole show like this, you would turn off. Stop it, Gordon, please. I'm begging you. It's 8:45. LBC Travel with Helen Austin.
Thanks, Nick. Well, Southwest... Hello!
Hey, we have an excellent How Low auction going on at the moment. It's perhaps the world's most stylish and desired laptop. Not even a government official would leave this on the train. It's an Apple MacBook Air. It's the one that fits in a manila envelope. It's worth well over $1,000, but you could win it for 1 penny, actually. It's a reverse auction. The person with the lowest unique bid wins. By which I mean the lowest bid in pence that no one else makes. Now, this closes 5:30 this Friday evening. If you'd like to bid, then you have to do it on your mobile phone. Text LBC plus your bid in pence to 88821. For example, if it was a bid of £1.10, for instance, it would be LBC 110 to 88821. The bids will cost you £1.50 plus your standard network rate. Lines close 5:30 p.m. on Friday. Bidders must be over 16. See the website lbc.co.uk for full terms and conditions. Good luck. Here is Colin Romford. Hello, John.
Hello, mate.
John.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, John. What have you got for us?
Right, basically, with the ongoing thing with the stupid instructions,
Yes.
right, basically I was in the army for a little while, and we were doing manoeuvres over in America, just exchange and having a bit of a laugh.
Exchanging fire, yeah.
Yeah, basically, they were shooting us and we were taking cover.
Right.
Usual story.
Mm-hmm.
But, right, we were using some of their equipment, getting used to it,
Yeah.
and there was basically a bazooka. And it was written on the front end of it was in big bold letters saying, "Point towards enemy." And, yeah, well, yeah, exactly, that's what we said. So the Americans, they just took it as natural. You know, they thought, well, why are you laughing at that? Well, you know, stands
Right.
to reason.
Well, it's just good advice, I suppose, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, but you want to hope they're on your side, really.
Yes. Do other pieces of weaponry and warfare come with instructions written on them?
Maybe, well, I'm not too sure. I mean, after that, we sort of, well, it just stands to reason. You pick it up, point it, and shoot.
Well, yeah, but you're a bloke as well, and we don't read instructions, do we, John?
No, screw 'em up, throw 'em away.
Exactly, yes,
Do
quite
it.
right too, yeah. All right, thanks for that.
All right, thank you.
Point at enemy, good advice. Here is Eltham. Hello, Phil.
Hi, Nick.
Phil.
Hello. Yeah, I went to the assembly this morning at GLA.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Oh, it's just ridiculous. to be
What
honest.
kind of chair did you get to sit on?
A very comfy one, but not much leg room.
Right. Was it a design classic?
Not really, to be honest, but it's a nice covering, to be fair.
Would you know a design classic if you sat on it?
Actually, I probably wouldn't, to be honest, no.
Right. It's a bellwether of how much an organisation spends on itself, is what kind of chair they've got, because £1,000 designer office chairs seem to be the norm in government buildings, which gives you an indication as to what the rest of the place costs.
But this is for, like, the audience of 500.
Yeah, well, exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Precisely my point. So if they were spending £1,000 on each of 500 chairs...
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, so you go in there, and what sort of procedure do you have to go through to get in?
Oh, well, you go through an airport... Well, it's quite amusing, actually. Airport scanner, you know, the thing that bleeps with metal.
Yes.
But he didn't actually do it right anyway, because all he said was, show us your wallet, keys, phone, and then I went to put on a tray, like you do, and then you walk through the arch.
Mm.
But he just said, "Oh, I've seen them, so that's all right." And he said, "Put them back in your pocket." And then I walked through, and the thing went bleep, bleep, bleep. And he just said, "Oh, you know, carry on."
Oh, blimey! There's no such thing as security, is there?
No.
It's all a facade, a farrago. Yeah.
So I could have had a gun on me.
Well,
but-
precisely. Yeah. You could have had exploding sandals.
Yeah, but I left my gun at home.
Did you?
Yeah.
Next time, eh?
But the buildings, as you walk up this spiral ramp.
Yes.
To get to the run.
I haven't actually been inside. I was outside of it just the other day, because they have that big tube that connects to New York. Is that still there? That's gone, right?
I didn't see it, to be honest.
Okay.
But as far as going, just for the architecture, because it's quite interesting.
Hideous from the outside. I hate that building. Although they've now started to fill in the surrounding areas with other office blocks that sort of complement it. So it makes it look not quite as bad as it did when it was just the one ball sitting on its own.
Yeah. But it's quite mathematically interesting with all the spirals within spirals.
Oh.
You know, it looks really clever. And as you walk up, you know, you were talking a few months ago about the Trafalgar Square plinth.
Yes.
basically there are 8 designs just before you go in the assembly room.
Oh, of what the next thing atop it might be.
Yeah.
Right.
One of them being the Tracy Emin.
Oh God, I hope it's not that.
Yeah, but so there are 8 designs you can look at.
I want the. I think the burnt-out car would be amusing. I mean, I know it's not meant to be amusing, but I think it would be. It might give you a laugh every now and again.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be the meerkats because that's just too soppy.
Boring. Yeah.
But I quite like the. Is Anish Kapoor in there? Are there mirrors? Is that Anish Kapoor? One of those freaky arty people. Yeah. Anyway.
There's one with a net around the base.
Well, yeah. Isn't that for people to stand on?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the ideas is for people to stand on it 24 hours a day for the entire period of the installation. He said, waggling his fingers in the air to denote that he thinks it's a bit of a joke. Somebody's going to stand up there and, what, I don't know, do anything they like, I suppose.
Yeah. You would have loved the Gump written on the sign for the net thing. It was just absolute gibberish. To do a load of arty words,
Yeah. Well, they have to dress all that nonsense up to make it seem like it is something, don't they?
Yeah. But if you're into art, it's well worth going just for that,
Can you just wander into the building willy-nilly? Or do you have to be going to an assembly meeting like you did?
No, you have to go to something, because if you go through the main door and then go left, you have to go through security and show your pass or whatever.
Right.
But I was directed right. And if you go right, you can only sort of go down the one corridor.
Okay.
Which is, the assembly hall.
Right. And that is the hub of the building, isn't it?
I think so, but it's hard to tell, really. It's like on the first floor.
Okay.
It spans a few floors, but I think so.
But you are surrounded by glass. In other words, you can see out from wherever you are, isn't that right? You're not inside, like in an enclosed space.
That's exactly it. You're at the sort of edge of the building.
Right. Well, I bet that's quite good.
It's really cool, yeah.
Because it's the only building in that area that you can't see that building from.
Yeah, and when you watch Boris on TV...
Yeah.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but you can't see out the glass behind Boris because it's frosted. But that's just because of the camera angle, because the camera's on the ceiling.
Right.
So, but if the camera was at a normal height, you'd see out the window.
You'd see straight through, right, okay.
Yeah. But...
So how was his performance? Was Ken there?
Ken was, yeah. He was at the front seat nearest Boris, to be honest.
Still clinging grimly on.
Yeah, and I also saw another semi-famous bloke. I don't know if you know this politics show on BBC, a guy called Tim Donovan.
No.
He was there. But
as a reporter, presumably, right?
Well, he just seems to be taking notes or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
Sounds like a reporter.
Yep, yeah, exactly, yeah.
And so how was it?
Well, it's quite interesting, but it was... Basically, what it is, you've got 250 questions.
What?
Seriously, yeah. Like, they give you a 70-page document.
No. I bet your heart sank. How long were you in there for?
Well, about an hour and a half, to be honest. Because
you must have rattled through them.
No. Well, that's the funny thing, because me and my mate were literally there until 11:30, and I kid you not, they didn't even finish answering question 2. I'm not making it up.
So they had 750 questions, of which they got through 1.5.
Yeah, 250 next, sorry. Not there anymore.
250, right. Oh, way to go, Boris.
Yeah. But it wasn't Boris's fault. It was to be fair, it was the Labour members who kept messing around with stupid questions.
Right. Here, listen, I'm up against the news, but thanks for the insight. That was good.
Right.
All right, cheers, mate. This is LBC 97.3.
So, do I buy an...
Would you mind telling me what this is all about?
It's, at the moment, all about Stuart, New Malden. Hello, Stuart.
Hello there, Nick. Hey, 1.5 questions in nearly 2 hours.
That's pretty good going, yeah.
Oh, it's unbelievable. You were asking for, sort of company slogans and that sort of thing, earlier on.
Just daft things that you see written on products and...
Well, the daft one, too, I've got for you.
Go on.
First one, as I drive about, I've been seeing it. You imagine a really dirty white van.
Yeah.
and written on the back is cleaned by the NHS.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, he's brilliant. You know, I've seen loads of them, and it's almost philosophical.
Yes.
And the other one today is that go and collect a septic from the septic tank.
No.
Well, you know, say you're not connected to the main sewers and all that out in the country, are you?
Yeah, right.
Well, you have a big septic tank and you have a lorry come round that picks it all up.
How'd you like that as a job?
Yeah, well, on the company slogan painted at the back and on the sides, I had to look twice, was everything you do is driven by us. I slowed down and went back again and had another look.
Are you sure you're not making that up?
Gospel truth.
Right.
It's a proper company. I couldn't even look at the name of the company because I kept looking at the side.
I bet Brian May is furious.
What a wonderful company slogan.
It's great. All right. Thanks for that, Stuart. Cheers. 0845 6060 973 if you think you can beat that. A text. The government had better put CCTV down every single country lane in the UK because there will be rubbish dumped all over the place if they keep coming up with new rules about collecting it. Why don't they change the record? We're all sick of hearing about it now. Well, he's absolutely right about that, of course. It's a government target about recycling. This is about recycling, right? And as with every government target you've ever heard of, it always has the opposite effect to that which was intended. So the aim of you throwing out less rubbish by chipping your bin or whatever, or routing through your rubbish, whatever it is that they do, well, obviously, they should check with me or any sane person walking around the street before they think these things through. Obviously, that would just mean that people who are not upstanding model citizens will just drive their rubbish into the countryside and throw it in a hedge. Well, I mean, you don't have to be a genius to work that out. Another text. I've recently purchased a packet of Tesco's. Oh, a packet of Tesco's one-a-day multivitamins for men. It warns that you shouldn't take them if you're pregnant or planning to be. Multivitamins for men, not to be taken if you're pregnant. I'll remember that. Another one. Christmas mince pies, best before date, 8th of December. Brilliant. Another text. Abbot, yet another reason to get out of the dreadful Human Rights Act. I've just spent £7.50 on a burger at Heston Services. I nearly fainted. What does that mean? That she nearly fainted? I don't know if it was a she. He or she nearly fainted because of the burger or because it was £7.50?
Because it was £7.50.
Well, Heston Services, well, that Mr. Blumenthal was behind the counter. Oh, he can knock you up a burger, you wouldn't believe it. He's actually doing crisps for Walkers, Smiths, one of those. Other crisp manufacturers are available. He's doing crab and seaweed. You're screwing your face up. It's a Heston Blumenthal creation. It'll be super fantastically yummy. I'll stick with cheese and onion. You just can't beat cheese and onion, am I right? Salt and vinegar every now and again. Actually, I say that, I can't remember the last time I bought a bag of crisps. I must have been still wearing shorts. Of course, Raj is still wearing shorts. They're actually long trousers on most people. Oh no, it's the other way around, isn't it? I got that one wrong. Oh well. Wind the tape back and remove it. Another text. I've just opened a box of tissues which instructs use within 4 weeks. Tissues? Why? Use within 4 weeks? Why?
Maybe they don't retain softness after that period.
They're tissues! What are they going to do? Harden up to a rock? That's just properly bizarre. Written underneath a packet of sticky toffee pudding, do not turn upside down. Written underneath a packet of sticky toffee pudding, don't turn upside down. They put that underneath it. And finally for the moment, front seats on my Renault Espace can turn to face the rear. Handbook says, do not drive with seat facing backwards. If they didn't put it in, someone would sue them. Like that nice fellow who's suing the council because he wasn't told how to climb a ladder, having been doing it without incident for 30 years. You know, if you don't tell them how to do it, they'll sue you eventually. It's LBC 97.3. Let me just remind you about a How Low auction which is going on at the moment. It's for an Apple MacBook Air. These are those super thin things. There can't be a more desirable laptop on the market today. It's a reverse auction for this a beautiful piece of kit that's worth well over £1,000. You could get it for pennies. A reverse auction is one in which the lowest bid in pence wins that nobody else makes. Now, the game closes 5:30 this Friday. If you'd like to bid, text LBC plus your bid in pence to 88821. If it was a bid of, say, 82p, you would text LBC 82 to 88821. Bids cost £1.50 plus your standard network rate. Lines close 5:30pm Friday. Bidders must be over 16. See lbc.co.uk for full terms and conditions. Good luck with that. Now, in the news did I just say that? They were talking about nurses smiling. Nurses are to be scored on how compassionate they are towards patients as part of a government plan to improve quality in the NHS, to be unveiled in the run-up to the 60th anniversary of the health service next month. 60 years old next month. The Health Secretary, Alan Johnson, wants the performance of every nursing team in every ward across England to be measured, with the results published on an official website. It's another government target which is undoubtedly going to go wrong. I can't, off the top of my head, think how, but it will. It'll have the opposite effect to that which was intended. They'll smile more, but they won't mean it. The Compassion Index will be compiled by health regulators using surveys of patients' views while in hospital, including feedback about the attitude of staff. Which all might be... Now, that's going to cost a lot of money, right? He's going to have to hire compassionate index compilers. He's going to have to compile researchers and computational analysts and statisticians and a whole raft of management to police it. So it's going to cost a gigantic amount of money. Whereas what they actually should be doing, I can't count the amount of times they've been told how to fix it, how to fix not only this problem of nurses, being more pleasant to their wards, but also the problem of dirty, I'm going to have to say wards again. That's two wards in the same paragraph. Isn't that awful? But they meant different things. Clean up the wards, improve patient care and blah, blah, blah. And do you know how they're going to do that? How many times have you heard them say it? You're looking at me blankly, Raj. Yes?
Yes.
Go on. It's employ... bring back the...
matron.
Matron! Correctamundo. Bring back matron. That will sort the nurses out. If they're glum and wandering about and they can't be bothered to change your pan, then matron will sort them out. Get Hattie Jakes on the case. The government wants to publish each trust's overall nursing quality score. 2, it says, inform patients when they are choosing where to be treated. No, it won't. What it will do is it will create a base rate which will enable then, in a year or 6 months, whatever it is, to say, look, through our munificent leadership, nurses are 50% more smiley than they were this time last year. I mean, honestly, if you were ill, if you'd gone to your doctor and with the breathing problems, or your heart is bursting out of your chest, or whatever it is, would you ask for a list of the smiliest nurses in the locale so you could choose where you went to get your chest stapled back together? Of course not. You just want the nearest place, and you'd assume that they're all the same, right? I think this whole choice thing in the NHS is a giant... it's like smoke and mirrors. It doesn't exist. Johnson claims, Alan Johnson, the Health Secretary, that if your experience involves nurses looking grumpy, or someone being rude, or not getting people there when you need them, then it ruins the whole experience. Like he's talking about an 1830 holiday. Ruins the experience of being so ill that you have to go to hospital. Oh, yeah. Perish the thought. 9:15. LBC Travel with Helen Austin.
Thank you, Nick. Well, because of a break...
Hello. Now, did you see this crop circle thing that was in the newspapers all today? My mind is officially blown. Groovy. It's the wildest thing I've ever seen. Apart from that volume thing that's outside the Royal Festival Hall on the South Bank. That is, talk about trippy. Yowza. No, this thing is tremendous. Have you seen it? How on earth did they do that? That's a direct question to you, Victoria. I'm waiting. No, honestly, how did they do that? There was not a paper, I don't believe, that didn't have this today. It's a crop circle like no other. It's essentially a pictorial representation of the number pi, which is the relation of the diameter of a circle to its circumference. Oh, I bet I got that right. And I'm just staggered. Let's assume that it's not aliens from space, although it would be an interesting way of communicating with us, because surely the relationship of the diameter and circumference of a circle is the same here as it is on Venus. So it would be a way of, it's a very simplistic way of communicating with people that don't speak our language. So they say, hello, we're here, although, why go to all that trouble? Why don't they just show up? Woo, Cooey. But that was fascinating. But how on earth, whatever nerdling nailed that to the ground, however they did that is a mystery. But congratulations, you made the papers. Very well done. It's probably a substitute for sex, you'd have to assume. On the other hand, there are aliens among us, and there's proof. I'll come to that in a moment. First of all, I'll take these calls, because it would be rude not to. Basildon. Hello, Carol.
Hello.
Carol.
I'm a midwife.
Oh, yeah.
Used to be a nurse, but now I'm a midwife. And this article about this government wanting us to smile more.
Yes.
This is not a new thing, actually. They tried this a little while ago. What I'd like to say is that if we all go around grinning too much, the next thing we're going to all be accused of is that we're not taking our job seriously and we're not taking people's ill health seriously. So we're in a total no-win situation. We're damned if we do and we're damned if we don't.
Yeah.
I've been at work since 8 o'clock this morning. I've not had a lunch break and I've not had a supper break yet. I am just on my way home now, but I don't feel at the end of the day, 9:15 or whatever it is, I've actually got that much to smile about. I'm exhausted. I'm actually exhausted. It's my day off tomorrow. I'm working it because we're so short-staffed. It's my day off on Friday. I'm working it because we're short-staffed.
I don't know about you, Carol, but when I'm tired, the first thing that goes is my sense of humour.
Absolutely. I've been doing parent craft tonight, and that's why I'm so late in leaving to go home.
You've been doing what?
Parent craft.
What's that?
Antenatal classes.
Oh, right, okay.
But I haven't had a lunch break yet. I've eaten, but I ate driving along, which is against the law. So
yes,
I take a
guilty.
chance of getting, absolutely. I get a chance of being stopped by the police and them saying to me, you're not supposed to be doing that.
Yeah.
But I don't have the time most days to stop to actually have a proper lunch break because we're just too short-staffed and we're just too busy. And yeah, I like to think that I smile at my ladies, but sometimes I'm tired and I don't want to be running around grinning like a Cheshire cat.
Right.
And if that's going to stop the performance of the wonderful hospital that I work for Basildon Hospital, that's disgraceful. That's absolutely disgraceful, and it isn't always about money, and it isn't always about conditions and everything like that. But sometimes we don't want to be running around grinning like Cheshire cats. That's
All
how I feel
right.
anyway.
Okay, thanks for that, Carol.
Thanks a lot.
All right,
Bye.
cheers. There she is, struggling through the pain. Well, you've got to have a laugh, ain't you? 0845 6060 973. Christo Fufas is going to be coming in a little while because he's just been having a chat with Will Smith. You had a chat with him, right? Yeah. Chafford 100. Never heard of it. Where's that, James?
Oh, in Thurrock, next to Lakeside.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I'm just ringing. I see on the side of a tub of baby food once, do not operate heavy machinery.
What, while consuming this product?
I don't know. I don't know if it's aimed at the baby, but I see it written on there. I was laughing. That's funny.
Okay, thanks for that, James.
Take care, mate.
Cheers. What possible thing could you give a baby that would mean it well, of course, babies should never operate heavy machinery. In fact, I shouldn't. I shouldn't even be here. But what could be in baby food that would prevent it from operating heavy machinery? Or it could be some sort of medicine, like you slip babies a bit of medicine. He's like, psst, hey, you want some really heavy stuff? Got some really heavy stuff here. Like that. And you knock it out cold. Used to be whiskey. It were grand when I were a lad. Used to give you 3 pints of whiskey before you went to sleep. That would send you off, and you tell that to the young folk today and they won't believe you. Actually, placebos for kids is the new thing. I'll talk about placebos. It's the latest idea in medicine aimed at soothing children's minor aches and pains. Drugs. Or at least the appearance thereof. A sugary, chewable pill which has no effect whatsoever. Ooh, I could go with a bag of those myself. Manufacturers, Oberkalp, which is placebo spelt backwards, claim that it works by convincing youngsters that they have taken real medicine, so they must be feeling better. Genius. Oberkalp is classified as a dietary supplement and contains no drug, so manufacturers aren't required to carry out their own clinical trials before putting it on the market. They can merely rely on results from previous trials where a placebo has been used. The associate editor of the British Medical Journal says, if parents use placebos to comfort their children, what are they teaching them? That tablets are the answer for all our aches and pains, and that perhaps all our other problems too. Not advisable. But then if a parent is, presented with a screaming child that won't shut up, then maybe a little pill will look more attractive. Studies have shown that placebos can help patients with depression and chronic conditions. A family campaign group, full-time mothers, said, I have an old-fashioned remedy, it's called Kiss and Make It Better. Oh. What happens when these children grow up and start seeking medication on the NHS because they think they need it? Well, they'll release albums to great praise and get photographed smoking a crack pipe by the tabloids, probably. I can see it. I'm on about 3 placebos a day now, man, but I can handle it. I'm just not feeling any different at the moment, that's all. Placebos also were tested on athletes. Athletes are going to be all over your TV like a rash shortly. And most of them will look like they don't fit their own skin, like they're about to explode out of their own dermis. And those ones are on performance-enhancing drugs. I absolutely guarantee it. But they don't have to be. Come to find out, here's the story. Ever since 1807, when Abraham Wood smoked opium to keep awake for a 24-hour race against Robert Allardyce, athletes have risked their health and professional careers by taking performance-enhancing drugs. I'm on a performance-enhancing drug right now, as a matter of fact. A nice cup of tea with a sugar in it. Cheers, Victoria. It seems that they need not have bothered. Most benefit derived from doping is in the mind, an Australian study has suggested. Over 8 weeks at the Garavan Institute in Sydney, athletes were given either growth hormones, which are banned by the World Anti-Doping Association, or inactive placebos, without knowing which substance they were taking. At the end of the study, volunteers who took placebos could sprint faster, jump higher, and lift heavier weights. Isn't that incredible? Ken Ho, who led the study, said that the results showed the power of the mind in sport. We found that athletes were putting their careers at risk by using growth hormone despite any evidence that it actually improves performance. He said we wanted to know if any improvement was due to the athlete's own belief. The results suggest that the placebo effect was very powerful. If you really think you're receiving a beneficial treatment, you will perform better. athletes who believe they are cheating gain an advantage even though they receive no chemical assistance. Isn't that incredible? Even if you think you're taking something that will make you run faster, you actually run faster, even though you're taking just sugar. At the end of the experiment, the volunteers who were given placebos were asked what they thought they had swallowed. The volunteers got it wrong, or the volunteers who got it wrong, in other words, the ones that they were actually taking placebos but thought they were taking real drugs, outperformed everybody else in their group. If an athlete thinks he's taking a powder that gives him an advantage, he becomes more relaxed, he'll push himself harder and build confidence and improve his times. Legal experts disagreed on whether... this is bizarre. Legal experts disagreed on whether athletes who mistakenly thought they were cheating could fall foul of anti-doping laws. You get your head around that for a moment? A man who lectures on sports law at King's College in London says, if someone told their trainer to buy them HGH growth hormone and then took it thinking it was HGH but it was actually sugar, they wouldn't have a defence. So they'd still be guilty, even though they hadn't taken anything. That doesn't seem fair.
But the intent was there.
Yeah, but so what? I intend to throttle you on a daily basis, but I don't. Walking around free I am. A spokesman for the World Anti-Doping Association said that the rules did not cover placebo dopers. He said, if the substance involved is not a banned substance, that would not fall under the scope of anti-doping laws, regardless of any intention to cheat, so they're at loggerheads with each other. So that's a great step forward, isn't it? So if you were a trainer of an athlete, because it's through that channel that the athletes usually get their illegal drugs, what you'd say, I've got this fantastic new gear. It will put 10% on your performance, but it's also completely undetectable in drug tests. And you just give them a bag of sugar, and they'll take it, thinking that they'll be winning gold, and their performance will improve, but they'll pass all tests. It's a great step forward in athletic. I've run out. Clive Ball.
Good evening.
Have you seen an alien?
I don't think so.
You're looking at one right now.
I was going to say, yeah, you never know, do you? You could rip off that mask and there's a shiny lizard underneath.
No, I'm an alien. He's an alien. Yeah. She's an alien. Everyone's an alien.
We're all aliens.
I'll get into that in a while.
Actually, I think I'm not mistaken in saying that it's a full moon.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, the moon was very low on the horizon yesterday. Did you see that? And it looks much bigger when it's near the horizon because you have of course.
But it actually is bigger, isn't it?
No, the size of the moon is exactly the same, whether it's in the sky, high in the sky, or low on the horizon. It's an optical illusion caused by your eye seeing things on the horizon that you know how big they are, and so it's and you know what the optical illusion is called?
No.
The moon illusion.
The moon illusion.
Isn't that great?
Right. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's absolutely right, though. When you're driving and you see the moon in front of you, and it looks giant.
Yes.
And rather beautiful.
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic.
But last night, by the time I was driving home, it was high up in the sky, and it looked absolutely tiny, but it was full. And I think tonight it's actually completely full.
It's exactly the same size in the high in the sky as it is when you see it on the horizon.
Yeah,
Isn't that shocking?
And it can't be really any further away. I mean, a little bit. It varies a little bit, but basically we're the same distance away from the moon all the time, aren't we? So it can't be that either. No. So it's the moon illusion.
It's the moon illusion.
Now, I don't know whether you believe in the power of the moon. But just circumstantially, I think there is some evidence that people behave strangely when there's a full moon.
You're going to get a stream of nut jobs tonight.
This is what worries me, you know. And sometimes I don't notice, and then I say, "Oh, no wonder it's full moon tonight," you know. So
it's not just the full moon night. I think it's the nights before, immediately preceding, and post the full moon as well. So you're in for
well, I thought I might try and head it off by not
showing up for work?
Not encouraging the
people to call
the madness. Yeah, I mean, I could mention this crop circle and the aliens. And
have you seen a ghost? That sort of thing.
I'll be asking for trouble. I think maybe I'll be asking for your impressions of Alistair Darling's big speech tonight. And are we heading for a recession? That might work better to head off the full mooners.
I like the nutters. Don't you?
Well, up to a point. There's nutters and nutters, aren't there? But we'll see.
Let's name them. Let's name the craziest people that call you on a regular basis.
Yes. No, I don't think we will do that.
Okay. Just a thought.
It's amazing though. This picture of the
I know. How did they do
circle.
that? Why did they do that? More to the point.
So it is a wind-up, or
well, who knows?
Or is it really aliens?
How on earth they did that? I mean, they presumably did it in one night.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, what it is, it's a very complicated circle which represents pi.
Yeah.
And
you're telling me this like I haven't read it.
Yeah. No. Well, I'm telling the listener.
Oh, right.
But I mean, it just looks really complex, and
yes,
it would have taken a long time. I could spend all night, and I can do that.
A whole team of nerds work for hours on that in the dark.
That's exactly right. Yes. We might go down the alien line a little bit.
And they must have been stone cold sober as well. I mean, to get
you would have to be, because the lines are perfect, aren't
absolutely,
they?
Yeah. I mean, to make one mistake, you couldn't get that would be grass to stand back up again if you made a mistake, could you?
No, if one line had gone wonky...
Yeah, you'd have to go to another field.
Yeah.
Well, you've never actually seen one that's a mistake, have you? They're always perfect.
Yeah.
You have never seen a crop circle with an error in it.
Maybe they have to adapt them.
So maybe they are aliens.
Yeah. I think
perfect.
It's a signal for aliens to land, isn't it?
Maybe it's a signal for us to pack up and leave, because we're about to be destroyed.
Okay. So that's my opening question then. Are we alone?
You really are setting yourself up, aren't you? Don't do it, Clive. It ain't worth it.
No, I got that wrong. No, sorry. We're talking about Alistair Darling and the Mansion House speech. And
you are we?
Oh no, we're not. Okay, I haven't. It'll be one of those two. I might even put it to a vote.
Rightio.
From 10.
Just don't ask. Have you seen a ghost?
No.
Hey, you've got the mobile phone there. Have you tried popping? Have you tried cooking popcorn with your mobile phone?
No. Tell me more.
Oh, it's all the rage on the net, baby.
Really?
People are... it's actually really scary. People are setting their mobile phones and pointing them at each other, say about 4, and putting unpopped kernels of corn in the phones, and then dialing the numbers of the phones and the popcorn...
In the phone?
No, the...
In the beam of the phone?
Yes. And
so the microwaves...
The popcorn actually pops.
God. What?
Isn't that scary?
And we're putting them to our ears.
Well, I don't. I can't put it in my ears because it bores my brain. I have to have it on speakerphone all the time.
Actually, you reminded me. That was another thing I wanted to mention, actually. Is my mobile phone about to explode?
Actually, your mobile phone is the biggest phone I've ever seen in my life. It's the size of a house brick.
It's retro. It's the Nokia N95, which is very nice.
Does it come with wheels?
It comes with a camera. It's an excellent camera.
Which you never use,
No,
right?
I do actually use it. But what happened was, it started getting really... I charged it up yesterday, and the charge, even though I kept charging it up, it kept going right down, and it kept getting really, really hot.
This is another one of your stories like yesterday. You couldn't turn your own radio on.
Yeah, I know. I haven't had that back yet.
Do any of these things come with instructions?
Well, I'm worried. There's a fault on this. I've read on the net somewhere that mobile phone batteries, if you're not careful, they explode. So if there's a sudden bang during the show tonight, it'll be the N95.
Don't keep it in your trouser pocket.
No, definitely not.
Rightio.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. There he is, Clive Ball, coming up after the new news to speak to his insane clown posse. It being a full moon. A hot seat change. Christo Fufas.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you doing?
Very well. Now, you've had a meeting with Star this evening.
With stars this evening,
Stars,
yes. On the red carpet for the premiere of a film called Hancock.
Where was this?
In Leicester Square.
Oh, yeah.
Biggest thing I've ever seen in my life. They had huge stages built, video screens everywhere. Like, usually they slap down a bit of red carpet and that's it.
Actually, I was in Leicester Square at the weekend, and they were building it on Saturday.
Yeah, they must have been, yes. Because I've had some friends who'd seen something there and they were saying what was going on. And they kind of covered up the cinema with these huge screens, and then the kind of actors, Will Smith, Charlize Theron, just kind of like poked through this little bit. But it was huge, absolutely kind of massive screens with big clips of the film and 2 different stages, a DJ in one. And
well, that's the biggest, because I was there when Tom Cruise did his last thing, and you think that there's no bigger star in movies, and it wasn't remotely as big as that.
Well, they've got things in common, Will Smith and Tom Cruise, in as much as that they've both grossed over $100 million for 7 movies in a row, which is what Will Smith has done. I think he's hoping that this will be his 8th $100 million movie.
He has been in some rubbish, though, hasn't he?
But people love it. People flock to go and see it. This one, I think, will be a hit. It's about a reluctant superhero who's an alcoholic who basically, drinks too much whiskey and has to save the world. And I think that's just a fantastic concept for a film,
is a good idea, yeah.
He's downing whiskey, he's full of self-loathing, hates everything, keeps going to save the world, but because he's drunk, he keeps totally screwing it up. So, there was this beached whale that he just literally...
Well, don't tell us.
And, well, I can tell you there's one thing. It wasn't rude. And he kind of hurls it out to sea and hits a ship with the boat, things like that, because he's drunk and not very happy with himself. He wakes up on a park bench and goes, I've got to go and save someone now. And so it's all about why he's full of self-loathing, and there are a few good twists. But I asked Will Smith this evening why he took the part.
I always judge movie concepts based, they go right from the concept,
What's he like?
He was lovely. I have to say, very open, very, nice, very pleasant, and yeah, really nice guy. I mean, they say he's the kind of nicest guy in showbiz, and I haven't just swallowed his press release. I actually kind of believe it now.
Because Tom Cruise has sort of muddied the waters for people doing openings like that, because he hangs around until everyone has spoken to him.
Oh, so yeah, literally.
Everyone is completely satisfied.
He's the only person left in Leicester Square by the end of it. There's no one else there other than a little sad, lonely Tom.
So anybody that doesn't do something approaching that makes themselves look a bit mean.
Yeah, it is known as doing a Tom now, doing a Tom Cruise, when you kind of go around the red carpet. He was doing a lot to try and satisfy his fans tonight, actually. He was I saw him standing there kind of holding cameras out, people's cameras so that they could take photos while they were behind him, if that makes sense. Doing that for lots of people. Every time he did an interview, he kind of rushed back and then went back to kind of sign autographs and all that kind of stuff. So he was playing the game very well.
He has something else in his armoury, though, doesn't he? Because he, even though his musical canon is rubbish, he can actually sing, right?
Summertime's a good tune.
Well, it's a good tune, but not necessarily... His performance of it is not what made it a good tune. Summertime is just a classic.
This Wild Wild West or Switch, for instance, or Boom Shake the Room.
But did he burst into song?
No, Jazzy Jeff wasn't with him this evening.
Okay.
You'll be pleased to know. I don't know if he does that. He lost his record deal, but then came back with Switch, which people love it when it comes off back of a big blockbuster, don't they? He always releases a kind of hip-hop cover with a riff from some 70s tune, and it goes straight to number 1. Now, he's starring with Charlize Theron.
Who's that?
Now, she was the one she won an Oscar for Monster, but she's also been in a few other things as well. But she's the most stunningly beautiful actress in the whole world. She won the Oscar the year before last.
What was Monster again?
Monster was where she played a serial killing woman, and she made herself look very ugly for it, when in actual fact she's completely and utterly stunningly gorgeous. And she's stupidly good looking. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
She's not the woman that was a bloke. There was a woman that pretended to be a man. It was a story of...
Boys Don't Cry.
Yeah, that's right.
No, that's not Charlize Theron, and I can't remember what her name is now, but that's going to annoy me. But anyway, she's absolutely stunning, and I asked Will Smith if, although he's a happily married man, whether he ever got kind of a slight urge with Hollywood's most stunning actress.
She's really in love with me,
So he's got Charlize Theron in love with him. Apparently.
Right, so he says.
He says. He's a happily married man, though. He's married to Jada Pinkett. And it was Hilary Swank.
Hilary Swank, yes, absolutely correct.
Boys Don't Cry. Yes. Charlize Theron was also in, I don't know if you've seen The Life and Death of Peter Sellers.
No.
And she plays Britt Heckland in that. Oh, yeah. Plays Britt Heckland fabulously, actually, in that. So, Will Smith, it's quite difficult not to hate him, actually, because
he's annoyingly likeable, really, isn't he? Even if he's in rubbish, it's watchable, I suppose.
Totally. And he's got Charlize Theron supposedly in love with him. London absolutely adored him this evening, just to the point where it was just carnage almost. And he's the biggest movie star in the whole world and one of the richest. So things aren't that bad for him, and I kind of put that to him.
Now, I've never put all of those a weekend or something like that.
Just once. He'd like Charlize.
Right. Well, I don't think that's allowed, really, is it?
Well, no, he's a married man. Yeah. But she is stunningly beautiful in this film as well. You have to look her up now.
Yeah, is it a good film? Be honest.
It is quite good, and I didn't expect to like it.
It's a comedy, right?
Yes, and I went in wanting to hate it, I have to say. It's only an hour and a half, which I liked, because after about an hour and 27, I was like, okay, this needs to end now, and it did. So I felt quite happy about it. It's ripe for a sequel as well, but it is quite good. It's not going to challenge you mentally, really.
Right. My favourite kind of film.
Yeah.
One that doesn't challenge me mentally. Yes.
Exactly. Well,
doesn't have subtitles or anything like that.
You just watch it and, it's not about, the Middle East peace process or anything like that. It's about an alcoholic who, can fly through the air.
Great.
As many alcoholics feel they can, but actually he can.
He can actually do that.
Yes.
Right. Okay, good. Thanks very much.
Thank you. It's out on July the 2nd, I should
Rightio. Cheers. There he is. Christo Fast, back at the weekend. This is LBC 97.3. It's 9:46. LBC Travel with Helen Austin.
Thanks, Nick. Well, the M4 is...
Come on, we're running late!
Right, aliens are among us. Now, you saw the picture of the that crop circle thing. That we can't really call it a circle, can you? Although it was circular, that crop design thing. How on earth they did that, nobody knows. Now, on a related story, the building blocks of genes have been... Not genes, but G-E-N-E-S... have been found in a meteorite, raising the prospect of life originating with the aid of extraterrestrial molecules that came from space 3.6 billion years ago. Are you with me? So, Earth, at the time, barren, devoid of life. A rock from space smashes into the ocean or the land or wherever it was, and from that rock came everything that you see around you today. Honestly. He's laughing at me. I'm not making it up. Science says so. Scientists have found that the meteorite contains complex organic chemicals which can be used to make self-replicating molecules that are the essential genetic ingredient of all known life forms, DNA and RNA. It's the first time scientists have found evidence for the existence of extraterrestrial compounds that can be used to make genes. Not only are we all from space, but by inference, there's something out there. Because how did it get in the rock? So it's bits of another planet that exploded, or I don't know, anything. Could be anything. Came from out there where there is life and hit us, creating life 3.6 billion years ago. Isn't that astounding? Raj couldn't care less. You have all the basic components needed to make the building blocks of DNA in a single meteorite, said Professor Mark of Imperial College London. This discovery lends weight to the idea that the building blocks of life came from space. It's known that Earth had a meteorite storm between 3.8 and 4.5 billion years ago. Isn't that fascinating? Apparently not.
Yeah, it is quite fascinating.
So we're from space. Don't look for aliens. They're all around you. Aliens are all around. Exactly. I asked a little while ago for crazy things that you had seen written on products or just in weird instructions and so on. My favourite so far is the legend "Do Not Touch," written on a statue in Braille. Some more by text. I once saw a mixed cheese salad for sale in an airport bistro that described itself as an ass cheese salad. Hands up who wants an ass cheese salad. No? That's ass as in ASS full stop. As in short for assorted. Ass cheese salad. Another one. A box of eggs in Asda. On the inner side of the box reads, allergy information. Contains eggs. I don't believe it. I mean, I've seen on a bag of nuts, warning, contains nuts, but contains eggs? Another. Have you seen the bizarre article on page 21 of today's The Independent about a fifth severed foot being found in British Columbia? Yes, that's right. All 5 have been found within a 60-mile radius. Yes, and officials are scratching their heads. Because who has 5 feet? And why would there be feet washing up with no other body parts?
Shouldn't they be on the lookout for people who've got no feet?
Yeah. And when they catch them, they won't have a leg to stand on. Yes, you're right. All those old jokes. It's not funny, Raj. Don't make light of it. People you'll miss your feet when they've gone, I'm telling you. Another one. There's a carpet shop in Harrow, and their slogan is, walk all over us. Everyone else does. What was the chap with the lorry called? Oh, everything you do is driven by us. Oh, that is fantastic. That deserves a round of applause. If you missed that, by the way, it's well worth catching up with, and you can get that on our excellent podcasting service, as you can all of the shows on LBC by going to the website lbc.co.uk/LBC+.
Orky/Docky.
Here's another one. Avoid inhaling spray on a can of air freshener. Well, that's not so crazy. I mean, not snorting it, perhaps, but don't stand in a cloud of it. That's not so crazy. There's a builder's van, I've seen in Enfield. Patel and Sons. You've tried cowboys, now try the Indians. That's funny. My fag packet says smoking kills, but it doesn't say who or what. Well, he's got a good point there. They left that vital piece of information off. A packet of peanuts with the warning label may contain nuts. Notice the may contain nuts. Well, you'd be pretty disappointed if it didn't. The popcorn is an advert for some Bluetooth company. It's done via heat under the table, I think. Well, I've seen it. It really, is it? Is that a viral advert? I don't think so. It looked pretty amateurish to me. In fact, there's several of them. It's really quite disturbing. People around a pub, I've seen the Japanese and French version of it, and they just put their mobile phones together in the middle of the table. Actually, one thing about it did concern me, because they seem to have a surfeit of mobile phones. Because 4 people each put their mobile phone on the table, all pointing at each other, creating basically a hole in the middle. And they put popcorn, just seeing the text coming in, very poor taste. Footless and fancy-free? Shame on you. Victoria's lost it again. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, mobile phones. Yes, put it on, point your pewter at YouTube, and you'll see it. They point their mobile phones at each other on a table. Point the 4 mobile phones, creating a little hole in the middle. They put unpopped corn in the middle, and then somebody dials all 4 phones, which means they'd have to have 8 phones. So maybe I am beginning to smell a rat. And then, when the 4 phones on the table are ringing, they are supposedly creating so much concentrated waves and heat that the popcorn actually pops, which I thought was one of the most disturbing things I'd ever seen. And it does make me more certain than ever that I never want to actually answer the phone or use my mobile phone with it pressed to my head. I'll shout into it from a distance. Now, all of the papers, in closing, all of the papers have had a list of groceries that have gone up in price, because the government is saying that the annual inflation rate is 3%, something like that. But the actual inflation rate is, depending on what you're buying, 20% for loaf of bread, basmati rice, 93%, butter, 62%. And this was in the Daily Star. And they had a different way of illustrating it than other newspapers, as you might imagine. They gave you the list of the groceries and how much they've gone up in the last year, and to illustrate it, 2 gigantically endowed, luscious lovelies holding melons in front of their chests with the legend, "We won't get many of these to the pound." Do you see what they did? Hey, Raj, what have we talked about today then,
eh? We spoke about British kids leading the way, young drinkers, Welsh kids, being drunk, stoned and exhausted, funny accents, climbing league tables, fighting on the benches, aliens, stupid crims, spreading fear, civil liberties, opening a box of chocolates, being pilloried...
So yummy.
Sorry.
You hiccup like a duck.
Thank you. MP's pay rise, running for election, Sienna Miller, Robert De Niro, pastiches, great performances, Joe Pesci...
Are you looking at me?
Leg insurance, black and white...
Who better to tell you about Sky Plus than...